it isn't with
Hey,
you.
when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth.
That's kid.
Guiltily, that is my...
Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard.
Actually no difference between Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. That's the reason why the character is successful. It's actually him. And what better way to become successful than really just playing...
Ryan Reynolds has long been celebrated as Hollywood's charming, funny guy, but recent observations suggest there may be a darker side to his persona, and fans are beginning to notice unsettling patterns, particularly in his relationship with his daughter, Inns. Social media discussions exploded after viewers dissected a Deadpool scene featuring Ryan and Inns, where many felt the interactions raised red flags about boundaries and control. The speculation intensified when Justin Baldoni shared insights into how Ryan operates behind the scenes, adding more context that some fans interpreted as evidence of manipulative behavior. As people connect the dots, questions are emerging about whether Ryan's public image hides a controlling or narcissistic streak, and whether his approach to parenting crosses a line that warrants concern.
What really bugs me about this is narcissistic. He wanted him to feel alone and like he had no one on his...
Ryan Reynolds' reputation as Hollywood's charming funny guy might be hiding a more troubling side, and some fans are convinced it extends to everyone in his life, including his kids. The suspicion started when his daughter, Inns, appeared as Kidpool in the 2024 movie Deadpool and Wolverine, and Ryan began posting behind-the-scenes glimpses of their work together. Fans expected heartwarming moments, but instead, they noticed behavior many found disturbing. One Facebook post in particular raised eyebrows. Ryan shared a behind-the-scenes photo with Inns captioned, "Only co-star I argued with." Most people think Kidpool is the dirtiest, but she's also pretty good at backtalk and never taking out the trash. Using the word dirty to describe his own daughter struck fans as cruel, and the overall tone seemed to mock rather than celebrate her. This wasn't entirely shocking to some observers, given Ryan's history of making pointed or dismissive comments about women in his life, including his wife, Blakelively. For instance, in August 2019, he posted a photo of a commissioned painting by Los Angeles artist Danny Galeote, which depicted his childhood home and included Easter eggs like his idol John Candy on a newspaper front page. He called it the greatest gift his wife had ever given him, but then added, "If there's ever a fire, I'm grabbing this first. I'll come back for Blake," which many interpreted as tone-deaf and self-centered. Later that year, during an appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Ryan discussed how Blake supposedly stole his thunder during her pregnancy, reinforcing the perception that he frames significant life events in a way that centers himself. Fans connecting these patterns to his interactions with Inns concluded that his narcissistic tendencies are not limited to adults, but also affect his parenting style, sparking debate over whether his humor and charm are masking a more controlling and dismissive nature behind the scenes.
We talked in this program.
Yeah.
It was, we were talking about Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I go, "Oh my gosh." I go, "Ryan, what's up, man? What's going on?" And you said to me, "Not much."
Not much, no.
No,
Yeah.
not much. It was great. We had a
Wasn't a
fun
ton
talk.
going on, yeah.
It was really fun. And then after that, you went right to the premiere.
Yep.
And I got a Google alert saying that Blake is pregnant. Oh.
And here's what Ryan had to say in response. "Nobody was more surprised than me, Jimmy. I thought my denim vest would be the center of attention, but then Blake shows up uninvited, might I add. I assumed she was just pounding beers, but it turns out she's about 6 months pregnant. I guess I really need to start being more hands-on at home."
Denim vest, it wasn't.
No, I thought that was going to be the lead story, but that was going to be the big Google.
It almost seems like he was bitter about the whole situation, which is pretty sick. Interestingly, the only woman Ryan appears to truly respect is his mom. She even joined him in a skit where he mocked Blake's love interest, Brandon Sleaner, from It Ends With Us. And, to be fair, that skit was a total train wreck. Still, fans concluded that Ryan's mom didn't seem to mind his attitude.
Not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Let's dive in, shall we?
Well, it's not every day the mother-in-law of the leading lady gets to interview the love interest, and the man trying to replace my sweet little gummy bear, Ryan. Let's dive in, shall we?
Can we not dive in?
I was expecting not to like him.
No, yeah.
But he is so nice.
the nicest guy.
So funny, charming.
On the other hand, when it comes to the men in his life, Ryan showers them with praise, especially his bond with Hugh Jackman.
And downplaying the hell out of that. Basically, everyone was done for the day. Like, this guy came over and I said, I think I could have made that better. I learned more in my short stint working with this man on that movie than anything else in my entire.
Abusing Blake was one thing, but Ryan's behavior toward his daughter appears equally troubling. On the Deadpool and Wolverine commentary track, he joined director Shawn Levy to share behind-the-scenes stories. One particular clip involving his daughter immediately caught fans' attention, raising concerns about how he treats her off-camera.
Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth.
That's kid. Guiltily, that is my.
Having his daughter say something so vulgar is completely unacceptable. Protecting children and shielding them from inappropriate content seems lost on Ryan, who appears more concerned with his own agenda than her well-being. And if you think that's shocking, brace yourself. What comes next in the following clip takes the troubling behavior to an entirely new level.
Father of the year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say, and then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking at other people.
It's hardly shocking that 7-year-old Inns didn't want to say something so vulgar. Did she even understand what it meant? Ryan's reaction should have been supportive, guiding her and adjusting the line to protect her. Instead, he did the opposite. He suggested hiring someone else for the role, prioritizing the production over his daughter's comfort and well-being, showing a disturbing lack of empathy.
They're saying that she didn't really want to say it. And then Ryan said that, you know, if you don't want to say this in this film, daddy's going to find someone else.
Little Inns must have felt completely crushed. She just wanted to enjoy time with her dad on set, but instead, Ryan made her jump through unnecessary hoops. Fans are calling this classic narcissistic behavior.
See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the starting young here in this situation.
And don't forget this part.
Ryan, to our discredit, we made Nezzy do I'm Not You 70 to 500 versions of that line.
I'm gonna pay for that later.
Blake Lively there as Lady Pool, Lady
Matthew
Deadpool.
McConaughey as
Also, remember this next part.
From the fact that his father was always screaming, and we now know that Ryan's also a screamer, so he basically just became his dad. So that whole little scene about like his father and unresolved issues, it's looking like you might have just become who you allege your father was.
Having his daughter say something so vulgar on screen was already disturbing, but forcing her to practice it 70 to 500 times? That's completely outrageous. It's an extreme low for Ryan, Blake, and anyone else who allowed this to happen. One fan commented, "Wow, I am speechless. 70 to 500 times? That's some kind of child exploitation number. Absolutely disgusting. I feel sick." Justin Baldoni knows how to treat kids, and I'm sure he or his spouse would never let their child say anything like that. Movie or not, I hope the jury sees this, to understand just how harmful this was. Another fan wrote, "Honestly, this is why I never got into Deadpool. It's so degrading and disturbing. It's literally the icing on the cake of everything wrong here. I tried watching the first one and turned it off immediately because it was awful, not funny, and frankly, disturbing." Fans had already picked up on red flags when Ryan talked about Enz's role at the New York premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine in 2024. It's evident that he had no shame in how he treated his own daughter. He demonstrates narcissistic behavior toward everyone in his life, not just Enz. Even Scarlett Johansson, his ex-wife, highlighted these patterns. In a May 2016 interview with Cosmopolitan, she explained, "The logistics of being with another actor are challenging. There has to be real understanding of how you share your time, especially when both careers are progressing at the same rate, or one is more successful. That's challenging." Insider reports on their divorce described Ryan as controlling and overbearing. One source said that when he wanted Scarlett present, he expected her to drop everything to be with him. She grew frustrated with the double standards. This behavior may stem from Ryan's own childhood and relationship with his father. Ryan has described his father as a tough, intimidating man, a former cop, former boxer, and full-time disciplinarian. He said, In a word, he was scary. Not because he was sadistic or physically abusive, but because he had an energetic weight to him. Shifting ever so slightly could transform a normal event into a tense, frightening moment. On the Smartless podcast, Ryan reflected, "My household wasn't awful compared to others, but my dad was never easy to be around. It made me feel like everything had to be perfect, or he'd lose his temper." By 2017, Ryan had acknowledged to Variety, "I have 3 older brothers. Our father was tough, never easy on anyone, and never easy on himself. I think my anxiety started there, trying to find ways to control others by first trying to control myself." At the time, he admitted he didn't realize he had become twitchy as a kid, internalizing the pressure and projecting control outward. Looking back, forcing a 7-year-old to repeatedly perform vulgar lines isn't just poor judgment. It's a reflection of learned patterns of control and perfectionism. Ryan's upbringing, combined with his public persona, paints a troubling picture. While he has built a reputation as Hollywood's funny, charming figure, these behind-the-scenes incidents reveal a more complex and frankly disturbing dynamic.
Breaking news, Ryan Reynolds files to dismiss from Justin Baldoni lawsuit. All right, what does this mean? Let's break it down. Has he won his case against Justin Baldoni? No. Have Blake or Ryan been dismissed from the lawsuit? No. This is all very standard, right? The New York Times has filed a motion to dismiss. Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist, has filed a motion to...
Honestly, no one expected Ryan to act this way with his own kids. Fans might not be able to control what happens behind closed doors, but at the very least, Disney should have intervened. Shockingly, they didn't even consider cutting the scene with ends. Instead, the only joke they removed from Deadpool was some random line about Deadpool, something like, "There's 4? Wait, is it Magneto? Dear God, let it be Magneto because with him, Billy's dead." Deadpool. F what? We can't even afford one more X-Man. Disney's approach was so bizarre and cheap it left fans frustrated. They could hardly process the absurdity while choking on corporate censorship. Meanwhile, Ryan had the nerve to publicly call Justin Baldoni a predator, adding fuel to an already heated fire. Justin recently filed a $400 million defamation lawsuit against him, and Ryan's actions only made things messier, stirring controversy and pushing fans into heated debates about accountability, celebrity behavior, and the double standards of Hollywood power dynamics.
The thing is, Ryan Reynolds is trying to distance him. He's trying to get dismissed from this lawsuit, but I mean, he's basically like, "Judge, let me out. Leave my wife in it, but let me out," which is, I don't know.
Justin Baldoni has accused Ryan Reynolds of privately calling him a predator and pressuring his talent agency, WME, to drop him, forming the basis of his defamation lawsuit. However, Ryan's attorneys, Michael Gotadal and Ezra Hudson, told the Post that Reynolds could not have defamed Baldoni because he genuinely believes the claim to be true. According to the lawyers, the entire lawsuit hinges on Reynolds allegedly labeling Baldoni a predator in private. But legally, that isn't defamation unless Reynolds didn't actually believe the statement. The complaint itself suggests the opposite. Reynolds sincerely believes Baldoni is a predator. Further complicating matters, Reynolds' wife has made multiple complaints accusing Baldoni of mistreatment and retaliation. Baldoni has also publicly admitted to past incidents of mistreating women and testing consent boundaries. Gotadal and Hudson emphasized that Reynolds has a First Amendment right to share his opinion about Baldoni. They argued that this should reassure people who've spent the past year labeling Reynolds and Blake Lively as bullies. It appears Reynolds is strategically using all available avenues to discredit Baldoni. Even his spokesperson described the lawsuit as a list of grievances intended to shame Reynolds for behaving in a way Baldoni allegedly portrays himself publicly, as a man confident enough to listen to women. At the same time, Reynolds seems determined to avoid the discovery phase of litigation at all costs, raising questions about what evidence might surface if the case proceeds. Between private accusations, public statements, and legal maneuvering, this battle is shaping up to be a high-stakes clash of reputations and courtroom strategy, with both sides digging in to protect their images.
Basically said that Justin Baldoni was fired from WME and that he did this in support of Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Ari Emanuel said he is ride or die for Blake and Ryan. He also makes fun of Justin Baldoni's name by calling him
Justin Baldoni didn't stay quiet. His lawyer, Brian Friedman, fired back at Ryan Reynolds' tactics, calling them blatant abuse of Hollywood power. He stated, Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous influence in Hollywood continues. This time, he arrogantly seeks dismissal from the case, despite his publicly documented involvement, which goes far beyond merely being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds played a key role in the scheme, defaming Justin across the industry, strong-arming WME into dropping him as a client, and attempting to destroy Justin's career by any means necessary. His fingerprints have been on this smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team from day one. Friedman added, Mr. Reynolds now tries to reduce clearly actionable claims to mere hurt feelings, sending a message that such behavior is acceptable. After lighting the match, he now seeks to escape the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real and serious. He continued, Ryan can appear on sketch shows or try to make light of the situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. Friedman's statement makes one thing clear: Reynolds cannot sidestep responsibility. While WME has publicly said they parted ways with Justin because of Ryan, the legal battle is far from over, and Justin's team is determined to prove the extent of Reynolds' influence and involvement in the campaign to damage his client's reputation.
Say, in my opinion, is plausibly the most guilty party of this entire thing, okay? He has just been publicly humiliating Justin Baldoni as soon as he could, as many times as he could, and using as many A-list actors as.
Believe it or not, some fans are convinced Ryan is the source of all this.
They're saying that she didn't really want to say it. And then Ryan said that, you know, if you don't want to say this in this film, Daddy's gonna find someone else.
So, yeah, Ryan seriously needs to reflect on how fans will react once the full story comes out. It's possible the public might even uncover more about how he treats his children. But what's your take? Do you think Ryan is genuinely a narcissist with his kids? Could there be more fans are about to discover? Share your thoughts in the comments below.